Hello everybody, Halcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from Inner Sphere, episode 428. And today we're going to be talking about the Blood Asp. Yep, it's a nice mech. It's 90-ton clan mech. It's a 460 Omni mech. And I think it's, 42 tons of space on board this thing? Let me double check here real quick. I think it was 42... And yes, 42. It's got 42 tons of pod space on board for a 460 moving 90-ton mech. Yeah, what's not to like about this thing? It's got a few drawbacks, but hey, overall, not bad at all. Now, the Blood Asp. Well, it was developed by Clan Starradder as one of their primary assault mechs to go out there and smack down anybody. And it does a good job of it. It's one of those mechs that I do like playing with. It does a good job. And who doesn't like that much tonnage and with something that's got a 4.6 moving? And being an Omni, you can put jump jets on it if you want to. They're a little heavy, but you can. Now, the Blood Asp is 460. It's got 14 double heat sinks, or the freezers. And then you have 16 tons of standard slab armor for 256 points. Basically 1.5 tons short of maximum. Personally, I would have liked to have seen, go ahead and just max it out. I'd be happy with 40.5 tons of pod space just to, play with. Another ton and a half of armor would have been a little bit nicer, but you can't have everything, I guess. Now, there are a whole plethora of different versions out there, but the Prime version, yes, the Prime, comes in at $26.54 for battle value. It has 18 heat sinks for dissipation of 36 heat, which is good. All right, weapons. It has a Streak 6 in the center torso. All right. With the ammo is in the, was it the right torso? Yes, the right torso. And then we have a Gauss rifle in the right torso and a Gauss rifle in the left torso with 1 ton of ammo each, which kind of sucks in one way because, yeah, you get 2 heavy weapon systems that carry a lot of tonnage involved with these things, and then they put 1 ton of ammo with them. I think I'd rather downgraded a couple of these heavy weapon systems and gave myself another ton of ammo for each of the launchers. Alright, so then you have 2 heavy medium lasers in the right arm, 1 medium pulse laser in the right arm, 2 heavy medium pulse laser, or 2 heavy medium lasers in the left arm, 1 pulse laser in the left arm. Kind of mirror image right there. But yeah, I would have been probably happy if you would have downgraded one of the medium pulse lasers downgrade both medium pulse lasers to just an ER medium laser, and then gave myself another 2 tons of ammo to go with those Gauss rifles, because when you got a weapon system that only creates 1 heat, I like to throw those into the mix a lot because, one of those things where, that's your hard-hitting weapon system that dishes out 15 damage, and it creates hardly any heat, but it's a major tax on the tonnage. So I probably would want to have those things operate more than 8 turns. So that's the one thing I dislike about the Prime version. Yes, I love my medium pulse lasers, but at the cost of only, because a lot of the games that I play with our campaigns and stuff, they have a tendency to last more than 8 turns. Sometimes they last even up to 20 turns, and when your ammo bay goes click, 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 empty, you're like, okay, that was a wasted. That's just carrying around extra tonnage that does nothing for you. So, there. But it's one of these mechs that, you got a lot of heat. The streak does 4 heat, and with the 2 Gauss rifles, there's 6 heat. Then you have 28 heat wrapped up in the heavy medium lasers. Yeah, that's 30, 34. And your 2 pulse lasers are kicking you off into a little bit more heat. That's 8 more plus 10. Yeah, you're looking up into the 40s for heat possibility. So yeah, you only dissipate 36. So you got to look at what are you going to do with all that. So obviously, when you get in closer, you're going to be looking at. It just depends. What you really want to be firing off is like those heavy medium lasers. Yes, they do 10 points of damage, but they also create a lot of heat for you. And you're most likely, I'd be firing the 2 Gauss rifles and the 2 medium pulse lasers, and I look at it from there and going, okay, what can I throw into the mix? And if I got the streak, that's the variable. Because with a streak, it's like, okay, what's the firing solution? Do I bank on it firing or not? If it's one of those gambles, it's like, okay, if it doesn't fire, it's no extra problems for you. But yeah, it's one of those things where, fire it or not. But that's like your crit hunting weapon system. No, not bad. But overall, I personally would have been more happier with so the heavy medium lasers. Most likely, I'd just go with, because you get the heavy tax that goes with that for making it harder to hit. I really would have probably gone with, instead of 4 heavy mediums, I would have gone for 4 ER medium lasers or go that route. Or, like I said, downgrade 2 of those, get rid of them, and then go with more ammo. Go that route. So you only had 2 heavy medium lasers instead. That might have been a better shot to go with. But it is what it is. So it's not overly bad. You just have to balance out the heat a little bit by not firing one of the heavy medium lasers. Then you have the Blood Asp A. All right, the alpha version. This is the 463. You got jump jets on board. You got the jump jet in the center torso, one in each left and right torso. Okay, so there's where you're going to have your jump jets. So you got a little bit of mobility, so you can get around, go over obstacles and stuff, even jump in behind somebody. Now, you do have a targeting computer on board this thing, and you have ECM in the center torso to go along with the one jump jet. In the right torso, you got a targeting computer, which is 4 tons worth. You have 2 ERPPCs, one in the right arm, one in the left arm. Then you have a heavy large laser in the right arm and left arm. So all your weapon systems are in your arms. Which, being this is an Omni, you can turn this into a battle taxi for battle armor and not have to worry about anything in your torsos getting in the way, which is typical standard fare when it comes to Omnis with the clans. So not overly bad per se, but when it comes to the weapons loadout, you lose an arm, you just lost half of your firepower. Even though, you have 25 double heat sinks, so you can dissipate 50, and so, but you're looking at the heat. The 2 heavy large lasers, that's 36 heat right there. You throw in an ERPPC, that kicks you up to 51. You run, that's 53. You're already 3 up in the heat scale. And your battle value comes in at 34.52. So it is a bit spendy when it comes to this one. But you're also looking at, you're carrying around weapon systems that not necessarily going to be fired all the time. Because you're looking at the 2 ERPPCs. That's your long-range weapon system going out to 23. They're going to find most of the use until the ER heavies, or not the heavy large lasers, are able to kick into gear. You do have the heavy tax, but the target computer offsets that. But most of the time, I'll be firing the ERPPC. You firing those two, and then you're just carrying around an extra heavy large laser that's not going to be fired. So personally, I probably would have been happy converting one of the heavy large lasers into, let's say, an ER medium laser, and then some other, or even just a bunch of ER medium lasers instead to make up the difference, to balance out the damage output a little bit. So there, but not bad, not great for the weapons loadout. It's not one of the ones I typically like to play with. So there. Then we have the Bravo version of the Blood Asp. This comes in at $28.85 for your battle value. It's a 4.60, no jump jets on this one. You do have 16 double heat sinks to dissipate 32 heat. You have ECM in the center torso. You have a Gauss rifle in the right torso. All right, so you still have one of the Gauss rifles from the previous version. And you still only have, well, you do have 2 tons of ammo to go with it this time. So that's the good thing. So they got rid of the other Gauss rifle for other weapon systems, but then they kept the other ammo for it. So that's the good thing. So you still have running around with 16 shots. Now, you have 4 medium pulse lasers in the left torso. So they got rid of the 1 Gauss rifle and replaced it with 4 medium pulse lasers. Thumbs up, because now you have something when you get in close, you got all those pulse lasers to dish out a lot of damage. You're looking at 28 damage possible just with that alone. So with the Gauss rifle and the 4 medium pulse lasers, the 17, you walk 18 heat. All right, so you still got a lot of heat to play with. Be able to dissipate. So then you have a LRM-20 in the right arm with Artemis, and then you have an LRM-20 in the left arm with Artemis. And then you have 2 tons of ammo with each of the launchers. All right, so this is a very well-balanced mech. This is one of the ones I do like playing with on a regular basis because it kind of works the style that I enjoy like playing with a lot of times. So I could easily see myself, and I have in the past, using the Bravo version quite a bit. And being that it's an Omni, you can throw in and carry some battle armor into the works. The only problem is that you have the 1 Gauss rifle in the right torso, so it kind of goes according to the rules. Even though you look at the model, it's got the big ass Gauss rifle sticking about, and it's like, sorry, Mr. Battle Armor, you just hang up underneath that big giant gun, but according to the rules, you can't. There's optics versus rules, and you just got to play around that. All right, so once you drop off the battle armor, then the Gauss rifle will kick in. Or you start the game on the first turn, you run them in, and they have the battle armor jump off on an objective or something, or get into someplace, and then you're just banging away with that Gauss rifle and those 2 LRM-20s, which they do put out some decent amount of damage. Average is usually 12 to 16 because you got the Artemis on board, unless they have ECM bubble someplace. If they don't have the ECM, then you have that pluses on there, and obviously you're going to be doing some good work with that and dishing out some decent damage. Now, when you do get in close, and those 4 medium pulse lasers kick into gear, then you rock it in all cylinders, and this thing will tear up things pretty decently. It's like you're banging out some decent damage with this mech. And then it truly says, I'm an assault mech. Hello. Hear me roar. So I do like the Bravo version quite a bit. All right. Moving on to Charlie version. All right. Okay, this is the 4.60. You have 14 double heat sinks. And the right torso has been replaced. You do have an LBX-20. Was that 2 tons? Where's the ammo in this thing? 4 tons. You got an LBX. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Gosh, 2 tons. Yeah, it's 2 tons. My thing, it's in the center torso. You do have the 2 tons of ammo for the LBX 20. Then you have an AC-10 Ultra in the left torso and the left arm. So you have 2 AC-10 Ultras. Not a big fan of the Ultras, to be honest. But you do have 4 tons of ammo to go with that. So basically, 20 shots, double pumping out the damage with the Ultras. And yeah, when you get dissipate 428 heat, think of it as 26 on an average. LBX got 6, 2 Ultras, double pump, there's 6 and 6, that's 12, 18. And then you have an ER large laser in the right arm, so 30, so you kick out 30, let's say 32 heat. You can do 1 turn with it up close. But if the LBX is not in the range, because it only goes out to 12 and the other ones are in range, you don't have to worry about heat at all. This thing will run cool. It's just throwing in the LBX 20 is when you start causing heat problems, especially if you're double pumping. Now, if your firing solution isn't all that great, you probably would go single shots with the Ultras. It's like, why bother with the extra heat, when the odds are you may not be hitting in the first place. So there's that. And personally, I'd probably have gotten rid of one of the Ultra 10s and replace it with some other weapon system. Or, heck, just make them all LBX 10s. Go that route. See what you can play around with that then. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Shotgun effect. But this comes in at $22.70. Not a big fan of this, the Charlie version at all. I can see it being useful, especially up close. So if you got any type of VTOLs or hovercraft or any type of vehicles that get close to you, that LBX will do a heck of a job on them. The number of times over the years where an LBX 20 or even an LBX 10 have taken a vehicle out of action just by shotgunning it and hitting all kinds of motive hits on it and basically mobile kill it. So it's like, okay, it's either moving extremely slow so the next turn it becomes dead meat, or you just mobility kill it right there and move on to the next target. But yeah, that's why I'd rather load this thing out with all LBX 10s instead. That would have been an interesting build. And add in some pulse lasers to back it up. Then we have the Blood Asp D Delta. All right, this comes in at $23.96, or basically $2,400 battle value. You got 16 double heat sinks. Now, this one, I have used this one in the past, especially like at Gen Con and stuff. You have 3 Ultra AC2s. This goes out to 27. Personally, yeah, they're kind of good for hitting targets way out of range, but they're mostly just plinker shots that, you better shots at like vehicles. That's where they really shine, is against vehicles, AC2s. Just trying to get those extra little bit of hits on vehicles. That's pretty much all they're really good for. Or long-range crit hunters, that route. Then you have a Gauss rifle on the left torso. All right, so that's typical fare. Now on the left torso, that's on the left torso, and the Ultras are on the right torso. All right, so you have that. Was that 1 ton? Yeah, 1 ton of ammo for the Ultra. Then you got 2 tons of ammo for the Gauss rifle on the left torso. So at least you are able to maintain some shots for a long period of time. So basically, if you're double pumping the all AC2s, you got 3 of them, that's 6 shots. You're going to go quite a few turns with the Ultra before it runs out of ammo. But by turn 8, you are empty. You've emptied out the bay on that, and in 16 turns with the Gauss rifle. Now, Backing it up, in the right arm you have an ER large laser and a heavy medium laser. That same fare that you had in the previous version. Not a fan of with the heavy medium lasers per se. And then you have an ER large and a heavy medium laser in the left arm. And you're running with 16 double heat sinks. So once again, heat can be a problem because you got the two ER larges. In the Gauss rifle, you're looking at 25 heat. The Ultras, if you fire a single shot, it could be 28. And then the heavy, you can throw in one heavy medium laser. That will kick you up to 35, 36 to 37, depending on your movement. And then you're up on the heat scale. So by that turn, you're already sitting at being a 3.5. So you just shot yourself in the foot for mobility. Not a big fan of those heavy medium lasers. Plus, you're paying the heavy tax on them to begin with. Now, they only go out to 9, so you're talking about being up close. Now, at a distance, this mech's not a problem for heat. But when you start throwing in, getting closer, and are you going to be throwing the AC2s out there? Probably not. Going that route. Then you got the Blood Asp E Echo version. All right, this comes in at $31.79. It's a bit spendy when it comes to battle value. You got 20 double heat sinks, so you have 40 heat dissipation. So you're 464. So you do have jump jets on board those things. So you do have some mobility. You do have an ER PPC in the right torso, an ER PPC in the left torso. So there's 30 of your heat. That leaves you 10 left over. Let's just think of it in terms of 8. All right. You have 2 medium pulse lasers to play with. So energy weapons, you can dissipate all your heat. And running and firing the PPCs and large pulse lasers. So that's not a big deal. You do have a targeting computer to go with this. So, yeah, you're probably going to be hitting pretty decently with this one, especially if you put a decent pilot on board. But then it's going to be spendy, all right? So that's going to be the problem for battle value. That's the offset of that. Now, you do have 2 ATM-3s in the right arm and 2 ATM-3s in the left arm. And you do have 1 ton of ammo for each of the ATMs. So basically, you just decide which ones you're going to fire, what kind of ammo you're going to be running with these two things. So are you going to be high explosive short range, or are you going to go extended range, or just standard? When you got 1 ton of ammo, I typically probably going 1, maybe short range as your shotgun effect, and then 1 other with the maybe the medium range one, just to keep the damage output. The extended range one with an ATM-3, that's basically Plinker style weapon system. Not really great, not something I'd probably be running around with or even using. So it's either the shotgun, the heavy high explosive, or the standard. That'd be the 2 I'd run. And most likely, I'd probably go with the high explosive to begin with. Go that route. Because, I get the ERPPCs and medium pulse lasers. So you just have to look at damage output and how you're going to look at that. So there's that. But overall, to me, the ATMs kind of fall into that. I guess basically you get in close, probably shut off 1 PPC and then go nothing but ATM-3s. Make up the difference, because you got 4 of them. That's 4 times 8 heat, off and on type of thing. But even though you're big hole punchers with the PPCs, it's hard not to use them, because those things tear off the armor pretty good. So it's something you just have to think about. What are you going to do with them? Then the Blood Asp F Foxtrot comes in at $29.08 battle value. Comes in with 19 double heat sinks, so it frees out 38 heat. It's a 4.60. Now you have 2 AP Gauss rifles in the center torso. And I think of what 1 ton of ammo to go with that. So there, that's gives you a little bit of damage down range out to 9. 3-point shots. You get 2 of them, and they're good for taking on some anti-personnel. So there's that. Now here's the interesting thing. It has 2 streaks 6s in the right torso, 2 streak 6s in the left torso. All right, I kind of like that idea. And then you have was it 1 ton? Yes, 1 ton of ammo for the streak 6 in the left torso, and 2 tons in the right torso. So you do have 3 tons to go with those 4 launchers. So that's 45 shots. So basically 10 turns easily with the launchers. So 11 turns. Yeah, you get 11 turns that you can fire. That's a good amount. And you're not always going to have all of them fire. So it's going to balance out to even more. More turns. Should probably get out maybe 14, 15 turns easily. For turns of potential fire. Then you have a ERPPC in the right arm, 2 medium pulse lasers in the right arm, all right, and then an ERPPC in the left arm with a plasma cannon in the left arm, all right. The plasma cannon, obviously, that's good for hammering vehicles, melting things down. You got 1 ton of ammo to go with that plasma cannon, so. It's one of those weapon systems like, it's like, how much heat can I dish out with that thing? And can I melt a vehicle down if there's vehicles, or slag a battle armor if they don't have the one type of elementals that have the fire resistant capability. So that's kind of like a situational dictate if I'm going to use that or not. You can dissipate 38, so if you consider, like, say, running, that's 36. Obviously, the 2 PPCs right there, you're looking at 30. That leaves you 6 left over. You could fire the plasma cannon at somebody before you get into the 12 range with the streaks and the pulse lasers. So you can be just like, I'm going to start heating somebody up by just throwing that plasma cannon on them. Do that for 4 turns, depending on if you're walking or running. And then when you get in close, you're going to shut off your a PPC, and maybe both PPCs, because then you have the 4 streaks, and then you got the 2 medium pulse lasers to play with. And then you maybe even throw the plasma cannon into there, to start melting people still. It's how you want to look at it. So it's an interesting build how you can try to balance out the AP Gauss rifles, the streaks, and the medium pulse laser and the plasma cannon. And that's where the ERPPCs are going to get shut off. You get in close, short range, you're going to be hitting them harder with all the short range stuff. Tear their armor off before you get there, heat them up, and then tear them up. So there's the F version, not bad. Then you have the Golf version. This one comes in at 3192 bit spendy. It has 16 double heat sinks. It is a 4.60. Now, you have a target computer in the right torso along with an ER large laser. All right. And the left torso and left arm, you have a HAG 40 that takes up a lot of space with the HAG. You do have 4 tons of ammo to go with the HAG. So that thing is sucking up a lot of tonnage with the HAG 40. So just think of it as 2 LRM 20s going down range. And then you have 5 tons wrapped up in the targeting computer that goes with it. And then you have a heavy medium laser in the left torso, ER large in the right arm, a heavy medium laser in the right arm, 2 medium pulse lasers in the right arm. So yeah, you got 2 ER large lasers and a HAG. So there's your long-range weapon systems with those two. So you're looking at 24 plus 8 is 32. And obviously you're dissipating 32. So your movement is what's going to cause your heat to go up. So yeah, you're looking at a plus 1, 2 per turn. So you can go a couple turns. But obviously you're going to be, when you're out at distance, you want to use the 2 ER larges and the hag to start stripping armor off. Now when you get in closer, one of the ER larges will get shut off, and then you're going to kick in the 2 medium pulse lasers, and then you shut off the other one, and then you got the 2 heavy medium lasers. So you got, and then you're still going to be throwing the hag downrange. You got 12 turns of that. So you want to be doing as much damage as possible with that one. So there's that. So you're going to be warming up a bit. So you have to balance that one for, obviously fire a bunch of stuff, maybe not fire one of the heavy medium lasers, cool off some, then heat back up. So it's one of those things where long range firepower going down range, tear armor off. And then when you get in close, obviously the ER larges will have to be shut off and balanced out with the other weapon systems. So there's that. So there's going to be heat issues. Don't fire everything because you'll cook yourself. So that's all the versions of the Blood Asp all the way up to G. Now, let me dig out the one version that we have used to great effect over the years. Let me see if I can find it. Where's it at? Oh, that's that one. Where'd it go? No, not it. Oh, there it is. There we go. All right, this one. You'll love this one. Bit high on the battle value. You're looking at what is the battle value in this thing? 37? Yeah, 3,700 battle value. Yeah, it's a little spendy, but you're gonna love it. All right, you got ER large and ER medium laser in the right arm, ER large and ER medium in the left arm, with the targeting pewter. So 2 tons towards the targeting pewter. So those two arms. Get some decent range for hit them for some targets. You do have 18 double heat sinks with this thing. There are 3 LRM-5s on board with 1 ton of ammo. So that's the 2 ER larges and your 3 LRM-5s are putting out 30 heat, and then obviously you got plenty of dissipation possibility with your 36 capability. So this thing doesn't run hot at all at long range. So yeah, you have the capability of doing some plinky damage with the LRM-5s, and then the ERs are just gonna tear off some armor as you're closing. And this is the Cityscape fighter basically that we've used to pretty nasty effect. What backs it up at close range is 6 SRM-6 streaks, 3 in each torso, right torso and left torso, with 4 tons of ammo going with that. So if you've never faced off and got hit with 6 SRM-6s, all 6 of them locked on, yeah, that's a lot of damage. That's 72 points of damage that you just got hit with. And yeah, that's pretty nasty considering, and the heat output. That's only 24 heat with those two. And then you can always throw in a couple ER medium lasers into the mix, and yeah, you're still running pretty cool. And yeah, it will do wonders. So you have your star mates that are tearing off some armor on some mech, and then this guy comes over and just shotguns somebody in the face. You put a decent pilot on board, and they hit him with those streaks. Ooh, it is nasty, let me tell you. That you're just scraping off a mech. If there's any open spots in them, you're racking in tons of crits. And if there's not even anything open, you ripped off a lot of armor to begin with. And then you have the potential of floating crits or, it's head hits. There have been many times I've hit mechs like that. And it's like, oh, there's another head hit. There's another hit. And hit them with 3 head hits in one shot out of all those shots. And then they just go down. And it's like a force equalizer. It is pretty nasty. And they see that mech coming. It's like they want it dead before it gets there. Let's just put it that way. It's a fire magnet, put it bluntly. But if you're playing in a cityscape where things are at point blank range, you come around a corner with it, oh yeah, bad news for somebody. All right, so that's pretty much it when it comes to the Blood Asp. Good mech. I like it. It does wonders on the battlefield. So if you get an opportunity to go play with it, take it out on the battlefield and enjoy. All right. This is Hellcrix. Hope you guys have a good one. Hellcrix out.